Peace and Black Power family. Harlem educator, author, and activist, the Black Liberation Coach, Brother IJ Taimba. I just want to take a few moments to welcome you to Harlem Liberation School's YouTube channel. The Harlem Liberation School was started in 2016 by myself and my queen, and we basically saw that there was a lack of foundational black political education going on in Harlem. We're not going to get up from under white supremacy without knowing how oppression works, how it affects and impacts in our community, the ways in which we internalize our own oppression and engage in self-defeating behavior and thinking, and our socio-political movements and our very important individuals and organizations throughout our history who played a leading role in fighting against and resisting and disrupting white supremacy. So Harlem Liberation School was founded as a black political education center for adults. Because education is not just relegated to children. Adults need education. It's those of us adults who maybe when we were kids did not get that foundational Africana studies of black political education. The things we need to know to be free and to fight effectively for our liberation. And so that's what we're here to do. We hope that you will come through, check us out, look at our videos, like them, comment on them, and share them. Peace and Black Power. Peace and Black Power family. Harlem educator, author, and activist, Brother IJ Taimba, representing Harlem Liberation School, where we teach our people to wake up, clean up, and stand up. The three-part outline of our dearly beloved Baba and ancestor, Brother Malcolm X. Our family, we want to encourage you from the outset, if you're watching, to press the subscribe button, to share the link so other people can see it, and to let people know about the life-sustaining, nation-building education that we provide here. Our goal is to inform you. Our goal is to educate or re-educate some of you. And our goal is to connect the pieces, to connect the dots. So many of us are doing really important foundational nation-building work, but one is in Tennessee, and one is in New Jersey, and one is in Delaware, and one is over in Chicago, and one doesn't know what the other's doing. So we're also hoping that you will make connections, that when you see guests that are on, that you feeling what they say, what they're saying resonates with you, that you will contact them, get in touch, and help them, work with them to build. With that said, family, we have a very important guest and brother who's no stranger. I think Brother Amun Tekala Imhotep has been on our show. This might be the fourth time since I've been doing something through Harlem Liberation School online. The brother has a wealth of information, good energy, and he is the founder and the commander of Anubis, which is a black militia headquartered in Houston, Texas. Without further ado, I want to bring our brother on. One second. Hold on 1 second, family. Technology, I tell you. Moon, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hold on 1 second. Brother Moon, how you doing today, my good brother?
I'm good, Bob. I'm a little hot, but I'm all right. How you doing?
Definitely hot, because it's hot in New York City, so I know it's hot in Houston.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we were talking and you said it's like 100-something degrees, right?
Like 104.
Yeah. All right. Now, let's get right into it, Brother Moon, because Brother Moon got to go to work after this, family. So the fact that he gave us some time is we really ingratiated to you for that. Let me just put up what we're talking about so people know. Now, Brother Moon, we tend to be a very parochial people. So, like, if I'm in Harlem, I'm all about Harlem, and I don't know what's going on in other parts of the country or the world. Or people sometimes maybe in Texas and don't know what's going on in other parts of the world sometimes. So for viewers that are not from Houston, could you just briefly describe the city? Tell us, what is it like for Black or New African people in Houston as you see it?
Houston is a very large city, very large. They will call it diverse, if you will. I mean, the same things that affect every other brother and sister everywhere else pretty much affects us here. Maybe it's not as extreme, it's kind of subtle. Police brutality is definitely a big thing out here. Gentrification is the first big thing out here. So a lot of the racism that happens in Houston is subtle. It's kind of like, hey, we're gonna pretend we like black people, but we're gonna buy all their property,
Mm,
or you'll get those in words every blue moon if you go to country towns like say Conroe, where there are white extremist groups or something like that. But all out Klan related events or leaflets, no, you won't see it that much.
mm. Okay. Now, Brother Moon, a lot of people say, I'm gonna have a franchise at McDonald's. Some people say I'm gonna have a sneaker store.
Hmm.
I'm gonna start a coaching business. You are rare. You said I'm gonna start a black militia.
Hmm.
That's not something that I know you took or take lightly, and I'm interested to know why and when did you start or create Anubis?
Okay, Anubis was founded in August the 17th, 2017, a day after my birthday. Um, it was started in the middle of Hurricane Harvey. I built Anubis because I felt that all the other organizations, such as New Black Panther Party or European Gun Club or National Black United Front State Center, so on and so forth, maybe needed a support unit to help them because during Hurricane Harvey, we were extremely stretched out. It was so much so that on the north side, particular, they didn't have much assistance because everybody was stretched out on the south side because south side was pretty much underwater. So I get it, So I said, hey, we need to form something that is able to assist. So I did that, but then come to find out there were other things like domestic violence rescues, domestic violence situations, excuse me, or other tactical related issues that needed to be addressed, and maybe the assets wasn't there, or maybe the capability wasn't there. So we need to go maybe ramp it up a little more to be able to assist in those endeavors because you can only ask so many organizations to do so many things. So why not build a support unit? So that's how we started out. Now we're autonomous. We started as a child of the UEP Newton Gun Club. I have no problem saying that. Homage to Babu Omawale and salute to you on your 8-year anniversary today. But he co-signed me to go ahead and run Anubis as an autonomous unit because it was once linked and merged with the Huey P. Newton Gun Club.
Mm,
We have now re-merged, but we're autonomously merged now, if you will. So we're merged with the Huey P. Newton Gun Club as well as the Elmo Geronimo Pratt Gun Club as a support unit on a tactical level.
and because so many of our people, unfortunately, Brother Moon, do
Hmm.
not believe black authority. They have a problem with black authority. They always got to know, well, where'd you go to school? And who trained you? And could you give people a sense of your military expertise that you didn't just jump into this, that you've been involved with this type of work for a long time, actually?
So actually, I retired, excuse me, from the United States Marine Corps in 2010. I went in 1991. Been in the Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps for 18 years. Got hit in Iraq. It was time to go home. So with that, I did that, and I was in the infantry field, so I know a little bit about combat. I have been in several combat operations. Um, so far as the humanitarian side of things or the community activist part, even when I was in the Marine Corps, I did stuff like domestic violence advocate. I also did stuff like equal opportunity staff non-commissioned officer, which basically I focused a lot of time on those young black brothers that were coming in to the Marine Corps, to those great units because they were getting harassed a lot by, our troglodyte counterparts. And the thing of the matter is people don't understand outside of the military how hard it is for people inside the military. So the question might be, why did you join? Well, simple answer is we're poor and we want
Mm,
something better with our lives. We want to go to school. Maybe that was a good way to go to school. I know for this guy, I wanted to do something better with my life. I wanted to go to school and we were poor. So with that being said, I wanted to go see some things. I wanted to be a cultured man. There are a lot of brothers and sisters that haven't been outside the city. Okay, so what really can you teach and what really can you build if you really don't have the knowledge based on anything other than what's going on in your immediate community, which is great. But at the same time, what about a world perspective? So I wanted to broaden my horizon. If I'm gonna do anything in life, I want to have a broad spectrum. So when I'm speaking, it's not necessarily on this little tunnel vision thing. I'm not just talking about Houston. I can talk about something that happens here. The same things happen in Iraq.
Mhm.
You know, so that's based on my military experience. So yes, I was in the infantry. Um, Retired in 2010. I did domestic violence advocacy, and I also did a lot of equal opportunity work in there.
You know, Brother Moon, I'm really glad that you talked about that you yourself and other brothers you knew that joined the military for the United States government weren't necessarily on some Rambo mission, like, oh, I love the United States, I want to defend my country. And because I know from my experience, many of the brothers I knew, they wanted, they thought they could get a house through the GI loan, GI Bill. They could get money for school. They wanted to see different parts of the world. And because I'm now referring to the 80s,
Mhm.
and no New York City, man, it was ridiculous with the drugs and crack and the violence and the gangs and all that. So a lot of brothers want to get out and see different parts of the world and get out of the hot seat in Harlem or wherever in New York City. So I'm glad you raised that so that people understand our people may not be the most African centered in every facet, but we're not stupid. Like we know America isn't our nation. We know that. Even if people aren't nationalists, they kind of know that when they say we, our people aren't included in that collective pronoun, right? So
Right.
we understand that they're military, and I'm
Right.
joining their military to get certain benefits, and that's it. So I'm glad you raised that point.
Right. Well,
And,
taking a walk back in time, I was semi-conscious, but still a Christian, if that makes sense. The
mhm,
thing of the matter is, this was during the '90s when I joined. You know, the Black Power era, Public Enemy, X-Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers. I went on that kind of point. I had the African medallion and everything. I knew about Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton. Over shoot, I wanted to ultimately be a Black Panther. You know what I mean? My father was actually in an organization. It was the Rainbow Coalition, but it was actually a faction called the Weatherman Underground. My father was a part of that, and he met my mother through the Weatherman. You know what I mean? So I grew up with this knowledge, but at the same time, I said, "Hey, I got to get out of here." And my father told me, "Take what you learn and bring it home." And
right.
that's what I did. So you'll hear people saying, um, it kind of irks me when they disrespect people that were in the military that are black. What about the Mumford Point Marines? They don't tell that story about a group of black Marines that had to stay on the other side of the base because they weren't allowed to serve with black Marines. I mean, with white Marines. They weren't allowed to do that. So they had to stay on a whole nother base. What about the Mumford Point Marines? What about the Tuskegee Airmen? There's brothers and sisters that have served in the military that have literally made their place in history because they had to. And I will say this, they'll say, but you defended the United States of America. Black people built this country. It's mine. My parents live here. Man, my father rest in power. My grandparents lived here. Man, they rest in power. Even though I am very Haitian, my granddaughter lives here. My children live here. What the hell you mean I can't defend it?
Mhm.
We can go on and on and on and on about you went to Iraq and you fought against them and yeah, that wasn't my war. But guess what? At the end of it, if those are the same people that call black people a bet. A bet in Arabic means slave. They don't look at you as a peer. So if they trying to kill me and I ain't got no choice to be there, I can't say I ain't going. I don't want to go today. No, you get on a plane and you're gonna be there. Period. And once you touch ground, you kill them or they kill you. It is what it is at that point. Now, with that being said, everybody having these hangups with brothers and sisters that's been in the military and in the movement. I got the same hangups with gangbangers killing our brothers and sisters in the middle of the street. So you holding something like that against me, well, I should hold something like that against you.
Right. And listen, for those watching, this Harlem Liberation School online. I'm here, Brother IJ Taimbo. with our guest, our family member, I should say. He's a guest on the show, but he's more of a family member. Brother Amun Tekala Imhotep, the commander and founder of the Anubis Militia, headquartered in Houston, Texas.
Mm.
I want to pick up on what Brother Moon just said. A lot of times, this is where the nuance part of our thinking comes in. To not to be so rigid that our minds are so locked into something that we can't back up and see the bigger picture. We have to always remember we're a colonized people. So yes, it is the white man's school. Yeah, and yes, it is the white man's cars and the white man's broadcast system, satellites.
Money.
Yes, we're colonized. But I don't see nobody taking his money, currency, and burning it, do I? None of y'all gonna get that money back, right? So stop it. We all have to make compromise choices. We're not in the ideal situation. We're taking the tools and using them as best we can until we create our own tools. So thank you for that too, brother Amun. Now, could
Yes,
you
sir.
tell us? People, I think, have a stereotype. They think militias just going out shooting people. You just at gun ranges all day. Could you give them a sense of the various services that Anubis provides to the community?
Yes, sir. Well, one of our programs is a Dr. Elder program, which is basically me working as a contractor. What I do is I'll see a dilapidated home, and I will go if there's an elder that is there that just can't afford the services, but let's say their house is falling apart, and I know based on gentrification code they're waiting for a code violation to give you enough violations to be able to take your property. So what I'll go do is talk so that elder, excuse me, go talk to that elder, and if there's services that needs to be done, I just go ahead and do it free of charge because that's an elder, and it increases the property value and it saves them from losing a home. We also feed the homeless, of course. We also do back to school programs. I do comedic science teaching over at the Shape Center. Um, we also do things like domestic violence rescues. We're really big on that. That is one of our key missions. Matter of fact, we're in one of those right now. Can't talk about it much, but we are in the middle of one right now. But that those are some of the services that we do, along with community cleanups and stuff. So it's not all about the weaponry. I tell everybody all the time, we as a whole, as a quote unquote Black Power movement, are starting to be very one dimensional. Anubis is very multifaceted. We do several things to include put the Superman suit on and body on.
Mm. That's very important, I think, for our viewers to know. If depending on where you are, Brother Moon, as you probably know, you may not have ever seen a militia. Most black people may have never seen an actual black militia, right?
Mhm.
So this may be news to them, particularly those of us who are in the north and the east. We don't tend to be as involved. I'm going to say,
Mhm.
and I think it may be because of restrictive gun laws. I think it may be because of the land is not as easily accessible and wide open, and a number of other things. But people do have stereotypes about militias.
Mhm.
So that's why I raised that. Now, this brings us to this question. Does the black nation need an army or military? Why or why not, as you see it, Brother Moon?
Absolutely. At this present point in time, we need a military because I'm looking at some things happen. Now, if it was like we need to address the mass shootings, I'd say something like to the effect of, well, maybe we need gun clubs, which we have. It's a difference between a gun club and a whole military. You know, or maybe we need to have a community watch. But looking at the fact in this political climate that we're literally looking at a civil war, we're looking at it. We can't say it ain't gonna happen. It has happened before. So with that being said, I'm imagining a civil war between the Republican and Democrats, but I also look at it spilling over into the black community, and we need to have a means of self-defense by any means necessary. We need to be highly trained, in shape, ready for combat if it comes. If it does not come, then we just stand down and be regular organizations. But yes, we absolutely do need a military for our self-defense protection.
Hmm. It's interesting that we're coming off of August 17th, which, as you know, is Brother Marcus Messiah Garvey's 135th birthday this past August 17th.
Salute
And
by.
though Yes, sir. And though a lot of mention is not made of the Black Legionnaires, he did have sort of a paramilitary component, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I think that Elijah Muhammad, who was a Garveyite, took some of that and made it through to Islam. And every, of course, Black Power organization had, whether it was the Black Guard or whatever, had a different type of sort of formation. I guess my question is, being that you exist in a continuum, a history of brothers and sisters that said we got a right to defend ourselves, and they formed all types of formations. What organizations or formations, Brother Moon, from the past, do you see as pioneers regarding the issue of self-defense for Black people?
Definitely Deacons of Defense. Let's start with Black Legionnaires, okay? And then we can go to the Deacons of Defense, which I think pretty much is the basic foundation of the modern 2A movement is the Deacons of Defense and well the Black Legionnaires. You have the original Black Panther Party, um, which was focused more on a political stance, but they did have an armed faction. Now, I would say definitely the Huey P. Newton Gun Club is the originator of the modern 2A movement. I'm gonna say it as you look at me because I know they're gonna say no, it's not. It's in fact, the Huey P. Newton Gun Club under Babu Omwale is the originator, the godfathers of the 2A movement that is black. I'll say that in a heartbeat. The new
Brother,
Black
I'm
Panther
sorry.
Party,
What's 2A movement?
Second Amendment. Second Amendment
Okay.
right, which means right to carry. So with that being said, I say that because the Huey P. Newton Gun Club has focused so much energy and so much time on weapons knowledge, getting our brothers and sisters to understand and comprehend the right to bear arms, or to get them to be comfortable with going to the range and shooting often, or wearing body armor because it's legal to do so, or studying your gun laws. Excuse me. So yes, that Babu's organization and Babu was actually definitely a pioneer
And
in
where's Brother
regards to self
Babu
defense.
located again, Brother Moon?
Dallas.
Dallas.
Mhm. Now
Texas
I will
seems to
say
be in the forefront of this, of the Black militia movement. There's a lot going on in Texas.
a lot,
Yeah.
but I will also say I want to see El Haj. I want to say El Haj Malik El Shabazz.
Ah,
I have to say that.
all
We,
roads lead to Brother Malcolm, man.
yes, sir. I have to say it. You know, Stokely Carmichael, H. Rap Brown, um, Gil Scott Heron. Those pioneers. If you want to go pioneer names, those brothers. Dr. Marimba Ani will be the one that talks about warriorhood, and Baba, Dr. Mailimu Bomani Kebaruti, yourself. I mean, we can go on and on and on and on. Professor James Smalls. That they talk about what I like about Minister Malcolm or El Haj Malik El Shabazz, let me say his true name, was the fact that he says that every man has a God-given right to defend themselves. He also says, "I believe in following the law." This is me, y'all listening. I believe in the law as long as it's fair. That's my statement. He
Mhm.
said, "I think that every Muslim should follow the law." I'm not a Muslim, but I'm saying what Malcolm said. I believe that every Muslim should follow the law. But if somebody puts their hands on you, you make sure that they never put their hands on you again. That's the
That's
mindset that I'm on. That is the mindset that is the mindset I teach my children. That is the mindset I teach the community. That's the mindset I teach my soldiers. That's why I train them hard. I don't teach them how to fight to hurt you. I teach you how to fight to make sure they never put their hands on you again.
that's right. That's right. Now, I didn't have this question
Mm,
formally written, but it dawned on me something that I think about a lot. Some people, not you, but some people that are advocating for, I won't, I'm not going to name any names, certain groups, they're very adamant that everybody get involved with that particular formation. And as I'm thinking about it, the military is a small percentage of a nation. Every citizen isn't in the military because every citizen isn't in shape. They don't have the mental aptitude for that. They're not built for that, right?
mm,
So it seems to me that you don't want everybody in that formation, but you want a specific group of people in that formation because they're carrying out very specific technical work that everybody can't do. So, what would be some of the qualities or attributes of some of the brothers or sisters? Because you do have sisters as well, right?
Right.
Excellent. So, what would be some of the qualities or attributes, Brother Moon, that you would look at as you look at the Houston? These are the type of brothers and sisters that need to be with us. These qualities, what would you say they are?
I look for be in some kind of shape or trying to be in shape, but we'll work on that. You know what I mean? Because even in the Marine Corps, you have people that's not in tip top shape when they go in, but over time through the training and everything, they end up being in good shape. Weapons knowledge, also same thing. That's a taught process. What I really look for is maturity and commitment and dedication and honor. If you're not two-faced, if you're not messy, if you really here for the people, then that's what I'm looking for. All of the other stuff we can build around. I do say stuff like I want you in shape, and I don't mean a circle. Because
Right,
and I
right.
have to and I have to lead by example. So I'm in the gym all the time. I'm working out all the time. I'm making sure I'm in check. I'm making sure my stuff is up to par because I need them up to par. So you can't be up to par if they're not gonna be up to par if you're not up to
That's right. And the reason I raise that is because I think there are too many illusions and myths. We talk about nation building, what it takes, and people have this idea like, oh, every black person's gonna be in the militia, in the army. No, in this nation, you look at this nation, it's a
par.
minority, it's a small group of people that 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 rise to that challenge, that serve, and that's fine because we have people in all types of different skill sets, right, and personality traits that
Mm,
we have all types of needs. So we can't have every African or new African in the military. Although we do think it's probably a good idea for all of us to be able to defend ourselves. But in
right.
terms of being in actual formation, so yeah, I'm glad that we talked about that. I want to take a quick pause. We have Sister Shirley Baker, North Carolina, gave us a shout out, and Sister Elena Porter, who she's the founder of the Pendo Institute, working with a human rights defender, trying to get us to think of nation building and do the kind of the legal things we got to do to build a nation. And
Okay.
I would assume, Brother Amun, you see yourself as a nationalist of some type, correct?
I am definitely.
Yes, indeed. Now, does you kind of answered this a little bit, but I want to go a little deeper. Does Anubis work with other black militias? And you don't have to name them, brother, if you don't think that that's a good idea. But do you work with other black militias and gun clubs around the country?
Absolutely.
Okay, and why
Absolutely.
why do you think that's important that you all be connected like that in some way?
Well, any militia, any military unit, you need allies. You need somebody that you're going to work with because of strength in numbers. So, with that being said, sometimes if I don't have a chapter, I mean a division, excuse me, I don't have chapters in Arizona, and I know said organization does have a unit in Arizona, I call that commander and ask them for support, and they go ahead and carry out the mission. So it's about the mission. It's not about the accolades. It's not about Anubis did this, Anubis did that. It's about literally getting the mission accomplished. So I think it's very important that black militias work together. I mean, over time, yes, you make friends and everything, but it's not a friend club, right? It's not all about buddy buddy. It's really all about a solid working relationship because this is business. The business is the people.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, I know. Speaking of this, it's a perfect segue. We had Sister Lassetti on maybe 2 weeks ago, and
Mm.
she, as you know, and for those watching, she's the founder and the chair. I guess that would be the chairperson, chairwoman of Sisters of
This
the
is how
Under.
we live.
And we had a really, really interesting broadcast talking about these sisters that were formerly in these kind of black militias or gun clubs who left to form this new group, and they kind of go around and they rescue sisters and brothers, by the way, that are in
Mm.
domestic situations and help them relocate, help feed. It was very interesting. And she mentioned in that broadcast that they also you as like a big brother to them. So that's
Oh,
cool to have that type of relationship like that.
Oh, they're definitely my sisters. I don't like nobody messing with my little sisters. You know, those sisters have, since their inception, have been working as hard as they can. It just bothers me when organizations work hard and you got other people just really trying to throw a monkey wrench off of your program and you look just like each other. It bothers me because at the end state, what are you doing this for? You know. So since Sisters of the Underground came in, because I always said there should be a unit of sisters. I've always said that, and when the sisters came in, I was like, that's what I'm talking about. You know, got to talking to them and knowing them and everything, and it's just I really absolutely fell in love with Sisters of the Underground. I'm there to support them in any capacity. We have done several missions with each other. I've even trained a few of them on how to do stuff a little better. So.
Now, Sister Elena Porter writes, she put in the comment that Amun is a solid brother. He's also a humanitarian too. I hope he talks about his humanitarian work that he is involved in. Is there anything that you want to bring up about things that aren't necessarily involving artillery or ammunition, but important work you're doing for our people in other ways? Now,
I
I
think.
remember, didn't you
Mhm.
wasn't there a hurricane or was some type of catastrophic event? And I think I tried to call you. Said, "Bob, I got to talk to you later." We're doing. I think you were evacuating some people.
That
You
was
remember that?
Hurricane Harvey.
Wow,
Yeah, that was Hurricane Harvey. And shout out to every black organization that was out there. It was man, Anubis, Huey P. It was doggone. I mean, New Black Panthers, National Black United Front. Everybody got out there, did their due diligence. So far as what the humanitarian work, like I said, my Adopt a Elder program. I love teaching kids comedic science. I love it. That's my thing. Um, Mentorship programs for young brothers and young sisters. I got a lot of children. I tell people I got a lot of children. You know, I have two sons and a
not in the
daughter, but
Bobby Brown type of way, family.
no,
Okay, just
no,
to be
no.
clear, he doesn't mean it
I
like
have a
because
lot of
I
conscious
know where
children.
people's
I have
minds go.
yeah, right. I have a lot of children in our community. You know, they call me Baba, and you know they like sons and daughters to me. I get a lot of calls. This birthday was beautiful because I got a call from all of them. But also the domestic violence situation. I do a lot of work with that. Also, if there's corruption going on in Houston, I've cussed the mayor out at least 6 times. I have. I have. But
That's
over
definitely humanitarian for sure.
yeah, so when a brother gets killed, like the brother Danny Ray Thomas out there in Greens Point, and I find out about it, and I'll sit up there and thank you, and I'll sit up and listen to the family's grievance, and I'll listen to them cry and everything like that, and I'll literally go talk to the man, and be like, hey, you need to do something about this, you know, and he might give me a half cocked answer, and I said, well, you can do something about it, or I can.
That's right.
Only difference is I will, you
Now,
know,
brother,
but
you know your belated birthday, brother, and Sister was said Harriet Tubman is giving you a salute, and she's saying
thank
happy
you, sister.
belated birthday to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Um, it's been a good 49th birthday. It really has. And it put a lot of stuff in perspective. This has been a rough year. It's been a rough year. And my August is actually a month of reflection for me because August the 22nd, ironically, it's a bittersweet because that's the day that I actually remember my daughter who transitioned at 12.
Mm,
So it's a hard day for me, you know. So it's a mourning day. So I celebrate a day, then I mourn a day. It's like a emotional roller coaster. But at the end of it, back to the humanitarian work, I pick up trash. I have no problem doing it, you know, because that's how I started my community work, period. You know, I was playing basketball with my son, and I looked around and I saw hypodermic needles on the ground, and I was like, wait a minute, nah, we got to clean this up. So I got a crew and we cleaned it up. But that also helped me to work with brothers that are in the third world community that are maybe addicted to crack or something like that. And they have a recovery group in the Shape Center. And sometimes I go in there and I talk to them and, hey, man, y'all keep up the good work. I'm proud of you. Thank you. Because that's all. Sometimes all the brother needs to hear is I'm proud of you. He needs somebody to say it. Or,
that's
hey,
right.
brother, you need to stand up. Or I like to say Wakusu, but I say the whole thing. Then you need to wake up, clean up, and stand up, brother. Don't give up. You still here. And I remind them of stuff like, hey, you a father, right? Yeah. You're a grandfather, right? Yeah. You're a man first, right? Yeah. Then be one. Come on now. But we support these people, in regards to their path. And so far as our brothers and sisters that were homeless because of Harvey, or because of Greens Point flood or something like that, it's just a pleasure being able to help them in any way possible. I also employ brothers and sisters through my company, ATI. If they need a job or something, I bring them on and give them a skill set. That's why I formed ATI, my company. It was really to fight gentrification, but also to educate some brothers and sisters, and pay them as they go.
Mm, that's all right. That's all right. Now, Brother Moon, you like myself, I'm sure you watch social media, you
Mm-hmm.
read papers, you hear, so you got your finger on the pulse of the streets, so you hear conversations our people engaging in, the stuff that got us in a tizzy. And it seems like, just like in the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, all up to now, COINTELPRO is still in effect. So there are people that
Here we go.
are not genuine, that are not authentic.
Right.
I believe that we have a responsibility to be very careful with how we recruit people, with looking for certain attributes, with screening them. Do you believe that part of the reason that we're having such trouble with things of like infiltration is that we don't sometimes take vetting seriously enough? Like thinking of the organizations and the people, do you think that if we vetted more that would help or no?
I say yes and no, and this is why I say that. Um, I've learned this recently from experience. You can have this because I got a very strict vetting process. You can't just join. It takes 90 days to be an Anubis soldier. But at the end of it, you can have a mask all day long, and there are people that had that mask of them wanting to work for the people and everything. You let them get involved, and the next thing you know, over a couple of months, whoop, switch on you. So it's pretty much like, okay, you're not a Fed, but can you not be chaotic?
Right.
You're not an agent, but can you follow
You're
orders?
responsible. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Can you follow orders? And let me tell you something about our people, Bobby. The one thing that I've learned is that the hardest thing for our people to do is take orders from our people.
Mm,
That's just like having a black person work for a black company, right? Black owned company.
mm,
The hardest thing for a black employee to do is to have a black boss sometimes. Because you get to the point you want to embrace your brothers and sisters as family. You don't want to be that boss sitting over them going, acting like the white man. But at the
right.
same time, I am your boss. So if you look at the military, I don't want to be the type of person saying, I'm the commander, I'm the commander, I'm the commander. But at the same time, I am the commander. So you have to follow orders and protocol. I tell everybody that gets ready to join them, I say, look, I'm your brother, but I'm your commander first. And the majority of us, the ones that are still holding the line, they get it. But there's some before that. Yeah, 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 I'm all for that. Then the next thing you know,
Mm,
so the vetting process should be a little more thorough in regards to checking backgrounds. Like if you want to look at somebody that's been in a federal agency or something like that before, but personality, if anything, the whole nine is you're not going to know personality till something happens.
mm. Now, see, I agree. And Sister Elena is also jumping into the conversation by saying that we were rewarded for mistreating each other. So yes, we've been kind of societally conditioned. And
Uh-huh.
one of the things that I've written about in I think it was a book I wrote called True for Our Youth is that our people have a problem with black authority. We have a problem.
Mhm.
There's no way that we can ignore that. And one
Right.
thing we can do when our kids are young is get them in sports, chess clubs, all types of extracurricular activities where there's a black man or woman that's going to be leading them. So they can get used to taking direction, getting counsel, getting instruction from black people, because that's very important. And I find that people who are on these teams or clubs and the black man or woman was the person running it, and even the studies say that the children tend to adjust better. They tend to be more mature. They tend to be more interested in their well-being and their health. So I agree
Mm.
with that completely, and I think that's something, just like Elena Porter said, that we're rewarded for mistreating each other and we're conditioned not to respect black authority. Then we're going to have to come up with ways to condition our people to respect black authority.
That's going to take at least another lifetime. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be real with you. And
Oh
and the
yeah.
thing of the matter is, because unless you've actually been in an environment like I've been in the military, and the dope thing about it was my drill instructors were brothers, and they gave me real talk. I remember one day y'all call it getting hazed. I just went to the sand pit, but man had me pushing. I'm pushing. And his name was drill instructor Sergeant Caldwell, and I hope to run into him one day. Just to say thank you. And First Sergeant Gibson, I hope to meet run into him one day. And Master Sergeant Smith, brothers. They told me the same thing 3 different times. And First Sergeant Gibson was a sergeant major by the time I got ready to retire. But then he told me this. He said, "A black man don't have no place in the military or the Marine Corps. It's your job to make your place." And when I retired, Sergeant Major Gibson walked up to me and said, "You made your place. Good job." Thing of the matter is, um, when you have that structure, there's things you do, there's things you don't do. They call it super ego. It is. It's a super ego. You develop the code of things that you do, and you just don't do over a course of time. Okay,
Like a
so you do
protocol, so to speak, right?
the protocol. It's an embedded protocol. So we don't. We I understand the whole concept of higher authority. I don't have a problem with it. Plus, most of my leaders, except for when I went to recon, then my leaders turned white. But most of my leaders were brothers. It was good to see. Most of my leaders were brothers. And they taught me well. They mentored me. They guided me. They pulled me to the side. Hey, man, you need to do this. You need to do that. And so I went through, whether I was a knucklehead on the streets before the military, banging and everything like that. I even had a big homie as OG that talked to me like a father. I had a lot of OGs, if you will, put a lot of solid information in my head to develop that code because they see a potential, you know, over the course of years. What I'm finding here is in this woke era. Here's the thing. We'll say we don't want that's because we've been programmed. No, listen, it's okay to have some structure. It's okay to be able to follow protocol. That's a hell of a damn that's a hell of a piece of character right there to be able to follow. Because when you follow something, you're able to be taught. You have to be teachable in this thing. And a lot of us, to me, sorry to sound pessimistic, a lot of us are not teachable. And as much as we need a military, it's about being ready for one. That makes sense? Baba, you there?
I'm sorry, brother Moon. I got kicked out.
That's okay.
It's always something, man.
It was dead
First,
space. I'm sitting there like, what happened?
I'm very interested in the insignia you have, the logo. Could you explain what it is? And also, I'm assuming it has something to do with the Anubis. And could you
Oh,
explain, if people don't know, the nectar or kind of the symbolism of Anubis?
okay. This is the Anubis symbol, insignia. I chose Anubis because Anubis is the gatekeeper between the land of the living and the land of the dead. Our people are spiritually and mentally dead right now, and they need somebody to guide them. Okay. Now the thing is about Anubis is he's neither good, he's neither evil. He just guides you to your fate. So if somebody asked what Anubis was, I said we're karma in summation. If you're doing the right things, we wholeheartedly support you. If you don't do the right things, we'll wholeheartedly run down on you because we got to bring some justice. You know, this pen above me is the Anubis pen, which is stands for freedom of death. It's a skull with wings.
I'm gonna try to focus on you so people can see that a little better. Okay.
Okay. All right. So this is the Anubis insignia. This is the Anubis pen. Once you become an Anubis soldier, this you get this pen. Um, the pen above it is what I will call my react pen or my shadow pen, and what that is an operator designator. It says this particular team actually goes out and does the missions and everything like that. So everybody in Anubis does not have the second pen above the first pen.
Uh, can you hear me, brother Moon?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, just make sure this thing is acting up a little bit. Hold on 1 second.
Hmm.
Now, can we talk a little bit about nationhood for a minute? Because I know you're a nation building brother. I know that
Hmm.
Anubis is basically is a representation of the fact that you're nation building, right?
Right,
Because you could just say, "Oh, we need a community policing," or "Let's film the police," or a lot of other stuff that you see. You taking a different position. That we're not. We're going to do a little bit more than that. We're going to
right,
have almost like our own military formation.
right.
Uh, when you think of nationalism that Brother X and Brother Garvey and Queen Mother Moore and all these people were advocating,
Hmm.
what does black nationalism look like to you in the 21st century? What is it going to look like? What things should we be doing or thinking about?
I think we need to look at etymology. Okay, and I'm gonna break that down for you. Um, Nationalism. What is an ism? It's a belief or ideology, a system, the system of a nation system. That's what an ism is. It's a system. Like racism is a system based on race. So
Mm,
you have national, nation, system. Okay. So what we need to do is actually compile every capability that we have into combining a nation system, a national system. If we can do that, what that looks like is basically having our community, sure. But if we are at the point that we are still embedded in the doggone troglodyte communities, we can at least have a national mindset, which means um, buying black, solely black, hiring black. Mexicans do it. Why can't you have an all black neighborhood and you have a black dentist, you have a black grocery store, you have a black shoe store, you got black people working everywhere because it's a black community. Man, Latinos do it all the time. Black people, for some reason, we get a little money and we go running right to the white neighborhood. When at the end of the day, you could build right there and you can make it just as safe. Just build it right there. But what we do is we leave those communities because it's the hood and it's bad, and I understand. But at the end of it, you're giving up property to your enemy.
mm,
So how about we keep everything internal? That to me, that's what nation building is about. Keeping everything internal. So I wouldn't hire, say, and no disrespect to them, because I don't really have a big beef with Latinos. I think just we need to have a discussion because there's nonsense going on. But at the end of it, I wouldn't hire a Latino person to paint my house when I know there's a sister or a brother that is a great painter and they looking for work. I'm gonna give them that job. I'm not gonna go to Walmart based on the history of Walmart and how Walmart started as Wally Mart or from the Waltons. If you look at the show, there was actually Slave Master. So at the end of it, I wouldn't like shop at Walmart. Well, I'll go to somewhere like African Imports if I really want to get my clothes or something like that, or I'll go get some African attire, some workout attire from a brother I know that might sell sweats or something like that. Same thing they do in Atlanta. That's what I love about Atlanta. Is you look on a Saturday, you see him by Lennox Mall hustling. I'm gonna go buy something from the hustler because I want him to own a store one day, or go to the D Mall in Atlanta was nothing but black businesses. I'll go buy over there. I don't want Jergens. I want Shea Butter. You know what I mean? So I'll go to the Shrine of the Black Madonna and get all my stuff. I don't want cologne. I want body oil. Again, Shrine of the Black Madonna. I need a doghouse built. I call another builder if I'm not a builder. You see what I'm saying? That's black. We have to be able to embrace our people. So that's what nation building is. It's building black, buying black, eating black, and marrying black.
That's right.
And praying black.
Right.
Because of the very thing that I was even conditioned to PRAY to was PREY on us. That's why I had to get away from it. Something consumes your energy, you need to leave it alone. But when I pray to Baba Ogun, I pray to I pray to Baba Ogun, I pray to the ancestors, I'm good. So it tells me I'm on the right path. So we need to bring everything from spiritual to economical to health wise to just relationship wise. We need to internalize and then make it almost taboo to not do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to, I should say, Harlem Liberation School is about to come out with a new video that kind of looks at, it's around this topic of don't just fight white folk, build for black folk.
Right. That's another thing.
We get real caught up. Some of us get real caught because I started out as a protest in that whole mode as a very young man. And that is a real thrill to that. You challenging this university, you challenging this hospital system, you in their face, you're not scared, you getting demands met. And that's important to the degree that we live here and we need to have access to certain things. So yes, we should fight. We have to eat, sleep, and have a shelter and things of this nature. So we fight for these sort of immediate gains. But I think sometimes, and I'm talking about the nationalist community, is confused because I listen to a lot of them. I'm like, they're not really a nationalist. They're like a radical integrationist. Their whole end game is just they want to fight the white man forever. I personally, I want to get to a place where they're not our frequency at all. Right. We're governing ourselves. We're enforcing our laws. We're writing the laws. We're educating the kids. Whatever way we're dealing with our so-called criminals, we're dealing with them our way, and they become less and less of a factor. Don't you see that as kind of a contradiction? Like people see they're so caught up in fighting them that they can't see a future without them.
Well, I say this, Baba. I did I do music, so I'm no stranger to that. But I did a song called "Solution," and in that song it starts off, "What's the conclusion to this revolution? Tell me where we're going, homie. What's the resolution? Not just part, because I can't do half and halves. Like we see the whole equation, but we won't do the math. What I'm saying in that is, I don't want to be an Anubis soldier forever.
Right.
I don't. I want some peace. You know what I mean? I want to get to a point that our people finally got what we want, finally got what we deserve, finally got what our ancestors wanted. So I can say, I have never met a soldier or a Marine warrior, none of that wanted to fight every single day of his life forever and then keep talking to the enemy. See, the problem is we want equality. That's the problem. I don't want equality. I want equity, difference. Once you have equity, you ain't worried about equality. Equality is out the door. I don't want no white people to lie. I don't care if white people don't like me. Don't care. I want equity, which means I want what my ancestors had built. I want what I'm building. I want what's mine. And I want you to leave me the hell alone. That's what I want. Leave me alone at the end of the day. One day I want to be able to sit back and my great-grandchild don't have to worry about being called a nigga.
Mhm.
or have to worry about nobody killing them because of their color or disrespecting them because of their color. Well, they ain't got to worry about no black sellouts because they finally get the concept of what unity really looks like.
Mhm.
That's what I'm in this for. Every I tell everybody, you go into any journey, it should start with a 10 to 15-year plan. What is your plan? Where does this get off at? Where do we get off at? Where does it stop? Well, it's never gonna stop the black people free. Black people free. Okay, let's say hypothetically, black people free. Now what? Well, we gonna keep fighting. What? What you fighting for now? We gotta get an end game. And
It's
that's the one thing we don't worry about right now because the way I'm looking at it is marching and all that other stuff got sexy all of a sudden. It's popular now. So we want to keep doing a popular thing because people are getting their 5 minutes of fame and they're looking cute or whatever. But at the end of the day, I am literally wearing this uniform and operating in this capacity to hopefully one day contribute to an end game so I can finally back away. I got out of the Marine
exactly
Corps. The last thing I wanted to do is pick up a weapon. That's the last thing I wanted to do. And I tell anybody watching this now, I did not want to touch a gun. If you go to war and you see the amount of dead bodies that we have and you cause death, the last thing you want to do is touch a weapon. But because of the fact that children are getting killed by our enemy and we killing our enemy, I might have to touch them again.
right.
So I ain't doing it because it's sexy. I'm doing it because my family needs to survive. And I love my people. And like I said, I got a 10-year plan. I'm in the middle of my 10-year plan right now. I'm in year 5. And if
Mhm.
if this ain't done, if we ain't reach our goal in 10 years, I told myself this. If we have not reached our goal in 10 years, I told Babu this, and he said, no, you can't go nowhere. I said, I quit. He said, why? I said, because we can't do this in 10 years. This is telling me we don't want to do it. And if you don't want to do something, who am I to make you do it?
Mhm.
It's time to back away. Or it's time to let somebody else have a better idea.
Right.
Right, because the dog
Um,
ain't hunting right now. It's not hunting.
I was looking for. We have roughly 3 minutes left, family. I
Okay.
was looking to see if there were any questions or comments from our viewing audience. I don't see any as of yet. If you do have any, please type them in the comments so I can raise them with our good brother Amun. Again, I'm brother Ajay Taim, but this is Harlem Liberation School Online, and we're talking with brother Amun around the topic of the Black nation needs a military. And
Absolutely.
we've covered a whole lot of things, family, under the rubric of this topic. But in the last few minutes, I wanted to open it up and see if we had questions, because I have more questions I can ask our good brother as the host. But if the community has questions, that'd be cool too. So I'm just gonna go check again. I don't see any as of yet. Brother Moon, how can, if people want to say, man, I know you guys need supplies and weapons and uniforms and whatever, how can we send money to you? How can we support? How how,
Uh,
how would they do that?
we will accept. First of all, I'm grateful if anybody does. I greatly appreciate that. But if anybody does want to donate to Anubis, you can send it to $sign Anubis Militia. That is capital ANUBIS capital MILITIA.
Okay. All right. Oh, I think I gotta edit that. Hold on.
Yeah, I sent it to you.
That should be right. Can you hear me, brother Moon?
Yes, sir.
I cannot see anything. Do, do you
I
see
see you.
the Cash App on the screen?
I do not, sir.
Okay, hold on 1 second. All right, we're back. I'm sorry, it keeps kicking me out.
That's all
However,
right.
I want to put this up. I think I have it right. Hold on. We'll just leave that up. And then I believe we have a question
Okay.
from Lena. She says, what is your position on creating a civilian defense league? I think security should start at home in the community first.
I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with that statement. You know, Anubis, of course, I want members. All right, but let's push that to the side. Any brother or sister that wants training in self defense, please hit me up. Bang my line, please. I would love to, because we have to be able to defend our immediate communities. Militaries are not designed to really defend the immediate community, even though we do. You know, and at this capacity, we do. But if you really talk about the concept of a military, militaries are training to fight agencies. You see what I'm saying? Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, they go against, the Imperial Guard, or this, or this, or this, or this is. So Anubis will be going against the KKK, Adam Waffen Division, neo-Nazis, and things of that nature. But in the impact and in the immediate community itself, our brothers and sisters need that self-defense. So a civilian defense league, yeah, by all means, go for it. You need help, let me know.
Mm.
Even though I think
Good
y'all want to join
question,
Anubis
Sister
anyway.
Lena.
Yeah,
Good question. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a good question.
We have to build all types of. It would appear, Brother Moon. I use the analogy a lot that our people. We have tons of individual superstars,
Mhm.
but very few championship teams.
Right, right.
And
And this is
I can't
calling
speak
for an
for
all-star
nobody
team
else,
on that.
but I will gladly, Jordan coming in the NBA and scoring 60 and but they losing every game. And he started to see we got to think differently. We got to
Right,
think of how do we get the team to win, and that's
right.
that's where I'm at. That's really where I'm at. I think whoever's best qualified and should take leadership with respect to a given thing. So Sister Elena, who's on here, she's doing human rights. She's defending human rights. She's meeting with other countries and agencies and trying to lay down the legal sort of apparatus.
And
And
that's
I see,
very important.
yeah. And then we got Anubis that plays its position and other things too. And we got all types of people playing their position. But to me, it's going to be our ability. You said something about systems. It's going to be our ability to build structures and infrastructures and systems and leagues and divisions instead of just having a superstar on the team and we keep losing.
Right, right.
Elena has another question. We need emergency prep too. Um, have I think she's saying, have you utilized any FEMA resources, and if so, will you share?
I have not used any FEMA resources. If you got any, have any resources that could lead me that way, you let me know, and I'm there. But I'm certified through FEMA on certain things. But so far as actually, getting some equipment for FEMA, that's a no. It's kind of hard to do out here unless you know somebody on the inside. I will say that. But no, I haven't. But I would, if I did, oh, I would definitely game you up immediately. I will say this though. FEMA has a listing of certifications that you want to check out. You can go on their website if you want to know, if you want to be able to enter a disaster area that they have marked off to check on your people. The best thing to do is to get certified, which I did. I had like 8 or 9 certifications, like first aid, stuff like command structure, things like that. The central command center and stuff like that. They actually have those um, certifications to get up in there, like classes you could take online. So please, by all means, if that's the kind of work you're doing, you definitely want that. Like I said, it's on the FEMA website, and just looking at, I think it's under the certification hyperlink. You can do that and find it there. But yeah, if I did, trust me, I would already be blaring out resources I got if I had it. So
All right. Now, Brother Mo, we come to the close. Is there anything or things that you didn't get a chance to discuss or say that you want to say before we close?
I will say this. I always say that the hunt is on and you are the prey. And all I'm asking you to do is survive. Thing of the matter is, us as a people, we as a people need to get to the point of taking survival seriously. It's coming to that time. You know, yes, marching sexy. Yes, it's cool to say black power. Yes, it's cool to look stand in a uniform look cute. Yes, but if you're not trained, it's a problem. If you're not in shape, and the reason why I hop on it ain't because you look good. It's because of the fact that if your brother or your sister to your left or your right goes down, you got to put them on your shoulder. You can. Or what if it's flooding and you need extra arm strength because you got to tread water? Or what if you got to climb a hill and you don't know how to? What if you have to light a fire and you don't have a match? You need training, survival training. It's coming to that point. It's coming that quickly too, and we need to take it very serious. And other than that, to the brothers and sisters in the organizations that are working, by all means, you're absolutely welcome, guys. You're absolutely welcome. But what I will say is thank you for all the hard work that you're doing. Salute to the sisters of the underground. I see you. I love my sisters. Salute to the Huey Canoe Gun Club. Again, happy birthday, brother Babu. Salute to the Elmo Geronimo Pratt Gun Club. My brother Nick Bezel. Homage. Much respect to the New Black Panther Party under Malik Zulu Shabazz. Much respect to anybody. The Akabin Institute under my Baba Baruti. I don't want no smoke. My other Baba, Baba Ajay Taimba, Dr. Ashwa Kwesi, Professor James Smalls, my other Babas, my Queen Mothers, my mother, and so on and so forth. Just peace to this whole nation, and we need to wake up, clean up, and stand up, as we say, Wukusu.
Yes, sir. Brother Moon, man, as always, thank you. Very, very informative, dynamic, useful information. And it's coming from a brother we know that's right there on the ground, putting all that into play. Not
Yes,
just
sir.
a walking encyclopedia. The brother has the knowledge, but he's putting what he knows into play, into operation in meaningful ways that benefit our community. So for that, we are all very thankful, man. We appreciate your work, good brother. And we hope,
Thank
man,
you.
that in all this work you doing, brother, you get to enjoy a happy belated birthday, man. You take a little time for yourself and enjoy that, you know?
I gotta finish this concrete, man. When I do that, I promise you I'm gonna enjoy it. But this sidewalk is just irking my soul. I gotta get it done.
Well, man, when you finish that, I hope somebody gonna take you out and show brother a good time just to relax, you know? That would be
I'm
great.
probably gonna take myself out to have a nice cry because all this doggone digging I've been doing, man.
I know that's right. Somebody treat this brother to a spa day. That's it. We gonna get brother Moon, just chill out, get a massage and chill out. That's what he needs. It sounds like. We
Man,
also
I
got
I
sisters
I
in the
would love it.
underground in the building. The sisters in the underground are here. Thank you for joining us, sisters. Love the work you do as well. And
Love you,
so with
beautiful
me, man,
sisters
thank
there.
you, brother. We're gonna get ready to close out. Um, and I just want to say this quickly. Hold on, family. This goes out to I don't know if you all are aware, but my most beloved Jegna has passed August 6th, and this brother was amazing. Dr. James Turner. He's the founding director of the Africana Studies and Research Center at Cornell University. He literally heard me speaking at a rally at Cornell University. I was invited by the students. Came up to me, complimented me, said, "Man, we need a brother like you in our master's degree program." I was about 25 at the time, and I eventually did apply and got in, and it changed my life. It helped me be a better scholar. It helped me be a better organizer and activist, and it helped me to be very clear on my life's purpose. So a mighty tree has fallen, and I'm not selfish or arrogant enough to believe that he's the only mighty tree that's fallen. You watching have mighty trees that have fallen in your lives, and I just want to take a minute to show appreciation for them, family. When we have elders in our midst, please ask them questions. Please listen to them, even if you disagree. You can challenge them, but listen, because the youth got the legs, but the elders know the road.
I'll
So
check.
we can never be so big that we think we know it all. And I just want to send a tribute to our Baba, our ancestors, who I know the ancestors took in with welcome arms. I know they did. I know they had to. The work that this man did. Thousands of students, people in all walks of life. If I gave the names, you know who I mean, who I'm talking about instantly. he and all of the ancestors that pulled for us from the other side, that worked for us. And you know, family, it's really something when you can work, not just for your immediate nuclear family, but you could be thinking about Africans, new Africans that aren't even born yet. That's powerful. That's very unselfish too. And if we're like that family, there's nothing we can't do. Not just your wife and your babies, not just your block or your city, but Africans that haven't even been born yet, generations to come. What would make their lives easier? What would help them be safer? What would help them eat better? What would help them not have mental health issues? And we work from that standpoint right now, right? Work backwards is what I'm trying to say, family. Thank you all for joining. Hope that you enjoyed our good brother, Amun Tekala Imhotep. We want to give a salute and a shout out to Anubis, Sister of the Underground, Sister Leda Porter, Sister Shirley Baker. Thank you for joining us. Peace and Black Power family. Wakusu, wake up, clean up, stand up, free the land. And we'll see you next time here at the Harlem Liberation School Online. Peace.
Peace.